Hey guys, April here. I want to talk to the nurses out there. I myself, as you know, am a nurse. I'm a registered general nurse. I am a registered midwife, and I got into aesthetics 10 years ago. Actually, it's 11 years ago this year. So I know a thing or two about running an aesthetics business, and I want to talk to you today about the 3 reasons you should run your business. Reason number 1, never ever miss another Christmas or birthday or a night out because you're on a week of nights and you can't get off. Never miss any big life event again. Just say that. I miss so many Christmases, my favorite day of the year. I miss so many Christmases. I missed my best friend's 21st birthday party. I missed pretty much a lot of things that I was not given the annual leave to take to attend or go to, or and that was all because of the joyous job of nursing. So I am sitting here on a Friday afternoon. I'm about to get some lunch because, well, I got sidetracked because I was at the gym this morning. And you kind of think, if I was on a ward right now, I would probably have all my patients washed. I would have done a medication round. I would be liaising with doctors while the phone is ringing off the hook, and I probably have too many patients that I can manage, and I need to know their full medical history in order to make sure that the medications are fine and that they're not going to have a reaction. I might need to get someone down to x-ray. I might need to get someone to physio. I might have someone for surgery, and I have to prep them and make sure there's a HCG done and all the bloods are done and they're group and cross matched and absolutely everything. You know what? I didn't have to do that today. That is pretty nice to be able to say, I didn't have to do that today, and I don't intend to ever have to do that again. That is the joy of being your own boss. You have no one to answer to except yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you can be lazy, but you have no one else to answer to. There's no boss. There's no one making you feel guilty for when you get run down and you can't come in. There's none of that. Any guilt you feel is caused by yourself. Everyone around you wants you. They want your services. So there's nobody to push you or to, overwork you or run you into the ground. And that is a pretty nice feeling. The quality of life is just... So when you have your own aesthetic practice, remember that your time is your own. It's so nice. That's not a blanket rule, obviously. Like I say, you still have to work. There's no, oh, my time is my own. I can work 1 hour a week and I'll be fine. No, that's not true, obviously. But you can choose the times that you do work. You can suit yourself. You can work when your children are in school. You obviously have to work out of hours. You obviously have to work unsocial hours, but you don't have to, tailor your life around, your job. Reason number 2, I genuinely tried to think of a way of conveying this that didn't involve profanities, but I can't. You will no longer be treated like shit. There, I said it. Our public system is so oversaturated at the moment, and there are very little gaps for you to grow, firstly, and there are very little gaps for you to breathe. And so you're worked to the bone. You are probably working your 13-hour shifts, which now most likely are running into 15-hour shifts because you can't get out of there and get your workload done in the day, and you're not getting paid any overtime for those extra hours that you're putting in. And then you have a wonderful management team who are on great money, who decide that, oh, you know what, let's on your lunch break, let's all meet for mindfulness, or let's stay late and learn about caring, self-care, and, and looking after your mental health. Because we're a work family. No, you're not. You are work. You are taking me from my family. And I always feel that way. We're a work family. We're not. I'd want to be with my children on Christmas morning while they open their presents. They are my family. You are not my family. You will literally fill my place the second I am dead. The second my body wouldn't even be cold in the grave and you would have someone in my role. So you're not my family. You don't love me. You don't care for me. You just need me to do a job and you need me to work at the best of my ability. And unfortunately, everyone is so overworked now that it doesn't matter. You know, you're run into the ground. It's an awful place to be. There's no joy in a job where you have too many patients, you have too much work to do, and you are chasing your tail and all you want to do is cry. You don't even want to go into work. You have to sit in your car and take a deep breath before you even walk through the doors of the hospital. Like, imagine getting up in the morning and not wanting to go to where you have to spend 37.5 hours, probably more, a week, because you can't stomach it. You know, you have to brace yourself to go through the doors. That is a miserable, miserable life. And it's a really high percentage of your life to spend miserable. I remember when I decided to branch out and I decided to set up my own company. And I said to my husband, you know, but I'm leaving a full-time permanent position. And he went, but April, you're full-time permanently miserable. So who cares? And it was probably the most poignant thing anyone had ever said to me in my life. And that was the deciding factor that made me leave. People think that I'm so far removed from the reality of nursing. I'm not. I'm traumatized from the reality of nursing. I remember when I was a midwife and I'd work in the hospital, I would work the 12, like it could be 13 hours. So you start at 7:30, finish at 8:30 p.m. And I would make sure I got my breakfast break because I knew I would not sit down for the rest of the day. And there was one particular day, I finally got out of the hospital at 9:30 p.m. and I drove home and I remember crying, and not crying because anything bad had happened, crying because I was absolutely beaten down. I was exhausted. And I got a bowl of cereal into me because all I would have eaten would have been breakfast at 11:30 or whatever in the morning because I wouldn't have had a chance to sit down all day. And I got a bowl of cereal into me and I looked at my phone. My phone started ringing and it was the hospital. And suddenly I felt my pocket and realized I was holding the drug keys. So I had to drive back to the hospital and finally get home at 11 o'clock that night, only to start it all again at 7:30 the next day. And I didn't have children at that stage. And that was the most draining time of my life. So I know exactly where you're at. I know how burnt out you are. I know that you can give no more. And this is where aesthetics gives you that wonderful balance of your time so you can have a great life. You can take up a hobby. That was the joys of long days. You could never attend an art class because you never knew what day you were going to be rostered to work. This takes that away. Take up your art class, do a fitness class, do whatever you want and work your work around your actual life and have a much better quality of life. And number 3, the money. Seriously, it's obvious. You're obviously going to make far more money in aesthetics than you ever will in nursing. It's in nursing in the public healthcare system. It's a no-brainer when it comes to money. And again, I remember being a student. I wasn't even a student. I was a newly qualified nurse. And I remember, by the time I got paid, I had to pay my rent, I had to pay my bills, I had to pay my car loan. And we got paid on the final Thursday. I think it was the last Thursday of the month. And I remember I'd get paid and by the 1st or 2nd of the month, I would have €300 to do me for the rest of the month. And I would literally cry. I would cry on the 3rd and 4th of every single month because all my bills were paid, but I couldn't afford to live. And they'd have snacks when I worked in theatre or the OR, and they'd have snacks. I would literally eat my body weight in those snacks because I couldn't afford to feed myself when I got home. It was dire. It was it was horrific. I'd have to work extra agency shifts on the weekends just to, go out on a night out. It's not a lifestyle that facilitates a life. It's not a job that facilitates a life. And I genuinely do not know how nurses with families, because again, I was single. I had a boyfriend and that was it. But I couldn't imagine trying to dress and clothe and feed and my children and bring them out for adventures and, all the things to make their life full. I couldn't imagine having to do that on the salary of a staff nurse. It's not plausible, it's not feasible, it's not realistic. And this again is where aesthetics comes in with its cape, the hero of the hour, and says, here, why not have a much better quality of life, deal with people who are not sick, who are very well, and have the life that you desire. You're in a nice, comfortable environment. You are not wiping bums anymore. You are not, dancing to someone else's drum. You are living the life that you have laid out before you. And it's wonderful. There's no job in nursing that allows you the freedom and the income that aesthetics allows. Now, that's open for debate. I would like someone to challenge me on that, but I'm pretty sure there is no job out there. The thing about us nurses is that we genuinely love our job. We genuinely love looking after people. We love seeing people get better. We love seeing people thrive and, improve. And we love facilitating that and making it happen. That's why I do this now, because I actually love watching people change their lives and make it better. This is heaven to me. So when you put all the pressures of a hospital or a practice and all of the constraints and minimal pay and, maximum time, you take that joy away. You take that want to give away. You kill the caring side of the nurse. I'm brought back to, the days when you wouldn't have actually peed for 12 hours. And if you worked 3 long days in a row, you mightn't have seen your children for longer than 5 minutes. You mightn't have even seen them awake for 3 or 4 solid days. And that's no life. Aesthetics is a place where you can actually rekindle that. You can rekindle that feeling of wanting to help people, that inner joy that it brings. Like I said, it's the only place where your effort matches your pay. If not, the pay supersedes your efforts. And you're not dealing with people who are immensely vulnerable and depending on you and angry with you because you haven't gotten around to them and you meant to, but you still had 10 other patients that you had to see. You don't have that. You have people scheduled in and you meet them and you treat them and you enjoy your time with them and you can still be that caring nurse because that's what the profession is all about. And your time is your own. You can work to suit your life, and anyone who puts those over the top constraints on you, you just tell them to get lost. That's it. Or you ignore their calls because you are building something that suits you and your family and your quality of life. So the three reasons to get into aesthetics if you are a nurse are the money, the fact that you will not be treated like shit, and the fact that you can plan your life. You will get to go to weddings. You will get to go on holidays when you want to go. You can actually never miss another Christmas for as long as you live. Seems like a no-brainer, really, doesn't it? It does require effort, though, but I'll walk you through the effort. Don't worry. I do hope I get to see you on my course, which encourages nurses to get into medical aesthetics. It allows you to excel and grow in an area that you are so greatly trained in. And I will be there to hold your hand every step of the way. So the link is below. You just book in for a free discovery call and I will be there to meet you on the other end and talk you through the coaching process and get you started in your new career and better quality of life.